Fala galera, bem-vindos ao canal com mais um vídeo. Estamos de volta com vocês com mais um Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Estamos aqui com Eivor. Temos uma missão. Aquilo ali é uma missão. Entendeu? A gente vai fazer depois.
Good day, Eivor. The fish are biting.
Lá, o corvo e o cuco. Vamos ver aqui. Vamos entregar o relatório pra Harvey. Se não tiver mais nada depois daqui, a gente vai pra esse o corvo e o cuco.
Eivor, Thanktir.
I heard shouting. Is something wrong?
Holger robbed me, and I demand he be punished. Huh, right disappointed word. Does the deer rub the stream when she takes a drink? Does a cow rub a field when he crops on sweet grass?
Eivor, this matter requires sensitive judgment. Will you?
Of course. From the beginning, please.
Well now, there is no excuse too small, I see. Nothing to keep you from coveting that seat, is there?
In Sigurd's absence, who has better claim to oversee these disputes?
You might leave them to work it out for themselves, but that would mean letting go, would it not?
É porque não é ele que tá resolvendo, por isso vamos botar essa ciumeira toda.
I have been falsely accused by this Saxon Philistine.
A Philly what? Are you mocking me?
Silence, please. I will hear both of your complaints and render a decision, awarding compensation if needed. Understood? Rowan, tell me your version of these events.
As you are aware, Holger and I are neighbors. Near enough that I often catch him at my stables, stealing my tools. Borrowing.
Holger, let him speak.
Stealing, borrowing. My point being, I have always allowed him to use whatever he pleased. I greatly admire your Norse generosity and had hoped to match it. But this morning, Holger stretched the limits of my grace. Entering my stables for their feed, I found my most beautiful, gentle mare stripped of her tail. Bereft, not a strand in sight. I am ashamed to say my natural suspicion drew me to Holger, and how right I was. For when I peered across the lane, there he was, gripping a horsetail brush slathered with indigo, dragging it across a sheet of painting, Rowan. I was painting. You make it sound so crude. You see? Such willful arrogance. It will take ages for Ilgafur's tail to reach its former length. I demand compensation.
I understand. Thank you, Rowan. Holger, let me hear your side.
Eivor, you have known me as a skald for years. You have seen how my poems bring life and joy and wisdom to our people. And you know that my work requires a certain, let us say, freedom. To make use of rare resources to compose my verses. Often when lacking the proper tools, I have made use of novel items. Alvis's walking stick, Tovi's inks, all were given gladly. You cut off my horse's tail to make a brush, you bleed.
Rowan?
As I was saying, this morning in the throes of poetic reverie, I realized that my latest piece required delicate brushwork. I could have used a frayed stick, some cloth, my hands, but no. I needed something gentler, softer. To make a perfect brush, I needed the fine hairs of a well-raised horse. And so I availed myself of a local resource. You clipped Alfgafur's tail to the rump without asking. It was early. I did not wish to wake you.
Thank you, Holger. I believe I understand your position. I believe I have heard enough. If you will...
My horse looks like a fool, Eivor. No handsomer than a donkey now. You must do something.
Do not conflate hair with beauty, Rowan. She remains radiant. Elgifer's hair will grow back in no time.
Quiet, both of you. Now listen.
Tá, são de... Rowan é o de verde, o Roger é um outro. É o que pegou o rabo do cavalo. Cara...
Rowan is clearly in the right. You sheared the tail from his horse without gaining permission.
I borrowed the tail. Borrowed! Does the reality of regrowth not make this a victimless crime?
It is a two-victim crime, Holger. Though they are unharmed, you took without asking, and that will not do. As the horse's value has diminished significantly, you will pay Rowan its market price.
But the horse was not for sale. Rowan, admit it.
My decision is final, Holger. Pay what you owe, and meet tomorrow as friends.
And if I do, may I keep the horse?
Pay the man and be done with it. Rowan, does this satisfy you?
It does. Thank you, Eivor.
Good. Then by Tyr's blessing, let this matter rest. We're done here. Return to your homes in peace.
Would you allow me to pay you with a vibrant painting? After all, in some ways, you are its creation.
Absolutely not. Silver is the only color I wish to see from you.
Tá, agora vamos falar aqui com a...
Oh, hello, Eivor. Good day. That Holger, he is quite the character.
I almost envy him. To see the world through such a muddy glass and live with such petty concerns. He hasn't a care in the world.
Let's not walk too far with that idea. I need you right where you are.
East Anglia is with us. Their King Oswald has pledged his loyalty to us.
Eivor Kingmaker, we shall call you soon.
Mais
Some interesting news. King Ceolwulf has sent Ceolbert to Shropshire. He hopes to install him as Elderman there.
Good for Ceolbert. He should do well considering all he has learned from you.
I gave him only a taste of my knowledge. The rest he will need to figure for himself. One more thing. I do not know if you heard, but Sven passed away a short time ago. The poor man slipped away in his bed.
I had not heard, no. And how is Tovi? She must be gutted.
It has been rough on her. She spends quite a lot of time at his burial mound. Speak with her, if you have the time.
Inventor nível 3. Nós temos aqui novas.
An arrival. I wonder if Volker is among them.
Bem, vamos ver aqui o que a gente... Ah, só pra sentar. Queria que a gente botasse pra sentar, mas a gente comesse. Se tem alguma coisa aqui pra... Passando a tocha. Uma sábia amiga. Corvo e o cuco. Vamos pra essa daqui. Quer se falar com a Tove. Aqueles outros dois a gente deixa.
Nonsense! It is not that complicated.
You do not appreciate the subtleties of a cutting.
What is happening here?
Holger wishes to prove that flighting is a lesser art. I am correcting him.
It is unrefined, unpalatable, unpleasant. I could beat you without a lick of practice.
That is not so, you thick-headed... Eivor, care to judge a flighting?
Not just now. Maybe later.
Very well. My victory can wait. You do not appreciate the subtleties of a cutting flight.
Quer dizer, aí os dois ali estão discutindo ali, quer dizer... Ah, aqui, ó. Tem mais... Vou botar essa aqui. A gente tem que fazer mais umas incursões para poder liberar esse daqui. Vamos para aqui, pô. Ah, já temos um cemitério. É isso mesmo?
I don't know how to draw without your hand to guide me.
Toby.
Eivor, it's Sven. He passed while I was away.
Toby, I'm sorry I wasn't there.
No one was. We had planned to brand Tekla's barrels that morning, and we talked about what we might have for supper. And when I went to collect him, he was in his bed, sleeping, I thought. But he was already gone.
I'm sure he went in peace.
But he went with plans. Things he wanted to do, things he meant to do. His death was so empty, not like in our stories.
What stories do you mean?
When we tell stories, the old and wise, they have this calm about them. They know when their end has come and they're ready. Sven wasn't ready, and I wasn't ready either. He was supposed to teach me things. I'm still learning. Everyone looks at me like I will simply carry on his work, as if nothing happened, because they don't know. They don't know I'm not ready.
Life may ask more of us than we are prepared to give. But all we can do is our best. I was not prepared to lose my parents. But in a flash, they were taken from me. I pressed on, determined to live.
That must have been punishing. But you are so strong and so determined.
Someone else might have done better than me. Or worse. But this was the fate woven for me, so I live it. I know Sven believed in you, in your craft. So do you believe in him? Do you trust him?
He was the most skilled artist I have ever known.
And he chose you. You may step up or step down, whatever you decide. But know that he had faith in you.
Thank you, Eivor. I need to get home.
Be strong, Toby. And know you are valued.
Até que foi rápida essa daqui.
When I close my eyes, Sven, I see your designs on the arms of the gods. I am sorry I was not here to see you off, old friend.
O Sven é aquele que lida com... que faz as tatuagens. Esse aqui, vou deixar por aqui. A gente ainda tem mais duas histórias aqui pra ver, certo? Ah, esse aqui é o...
I must take my leave. So long.
Make sure you talk to your raven regularly. They like that.
Ah, a égua. Como é que ficou o rabo da égua? Essa é a tal da égua aqui que... Nossa, até crina foi tirada dela. Tá louco? É ali que... Esse aqui, ali é tipo um estábulo, né? Vamos ver esse daqui. Isso aqui depois a gente vê no... Vamos ver no próximo vídeo. Galera, se vocês gostaram, dê seu like, se inscreva no canal. Até a próxima com mais um vídeo. Valeu!